بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته وزينبا ثم غزا إلى أحد في شهر الشوال وحمراء الأسد. And Zainab radiallahu anha, this is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam married Zainab radiallahu anha. Then he went out for Ghazwa at Uhud. Sayyidina Zainab radiallahu anha is the wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she was previously married to Sahabi, and he passed away. And she was the first person to be buried in Medina, and the Prophet ﷺ, the first one to be the quickest one to come to Rasulullah ﷺ, meaning after passing away, is the one with the longest arms, he said, as he said in the hadith. So the wives of the Prophet ﷺ, they started measuring who's got then they understood, because she was the most generous. She was known for her sadaqah. She used to work with her hands, and then she was not spend on the poor. She was known as the mother of the destitute, the poor ones. So Zainab radiallahu anha, Prophet ﷺ married her. ثم غزا إلى أحد في شهر الشوال حمراء الأسد. Then he went out for the Ghazwa Uhud. Uhud is the second battle, or famous large-scale battle that took place. The people, the Quraysh, they came out again to wipe out the Muslims in Medina on the back of the defeat the previous year in Badr. And this time when they came, a new group of people have appeared on the scene, which is the Munafiqeen. And Uhud really is to separate, because in Badr is only mu'mineen. In Makkah there's only mu'mineen, believers, true believers. In Uhud, because the victory was there the previous year and certain other benefits started to come to people, so there were a new group of people that appeared in Medina Munawwara, which were hypocrites, pretenders of Islam. So inside there were a Jew or a Christian or a mushrik, idol worshipper, but in reality, and on the external, they were showing to the Muslims that they were Muslim to get benefits. So they came out, but then they, in the middle of the battle, they abandoned the battle. They went. So this battle is, these type of tests. Uhud was a test to separate the true believers from the fake ones. So the true believers, Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they stuck to their guns. Despite them going through a very hard time, 70 of the Sahaba were killed, like the Prophet ﷺ's uncle, Sayyidina Hamza, the leader of the Shuhada in Jannah, and he radiallahu anhu became shaheed. The bodies of Sahaba mutiled. The Prophet ﷺ himself was injured, had chainmail stuck in his face, his teeth were broken, and so forth. So it was a very difficult thing, and so many Sahaba, 70 Sahaba, great Sahaba like Musa bin Umair, Hamza radiallahu and so forth were shaheed. They were killed in this battle. The Uhud, Uhud caused great distress to Rasulullah personally, and also to the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. The battle is well known and noted, but the main part of the battle, what we should understand from the battle, is that this was a test for the believers, to separate the believers from the munafiqeen. In the month of Shawwal, it occurred in the month of Shawwal, and Hamra Asad. Al-Hamra al-Asad is another, it's basically in the aftermath of this battle, the people who were participating in this battle, only they were ordered to go out and basically to rout the Quraysh. And some people of the Quraysh were captured as well. Remember that the purpose of the Quraysh coming was to wipe out the Muslim Medina. Obviously they failed in that. But although the Muslims had a loss, but overall it is a victory for the Muslim, because the goals of the battle, which is for the Muslim, was to protect Medina Munawwara. And Medina Munawwara, again, the Quraysh attack failed, despite it causing loss to Muslims, but the overall battle was won because Medina stayed intact. The Muslims were intact despite internal, the Munafiqeen inside causing trouble and so forth and abandoning the battle. But alhamdulillah, the Muslims, they overall, this is considered a victory, meaning that the objectives were not achieved. And then Hamr al-Asad is another expedition in which small skirmish people captured and so forth, but it's not really considered one of the major battles. So that was also immediately on the aftermath, and only the people participated in that who were in Uhud, all the injured. And it's mentioned in the Quran that those Sahaba only those Sahaba allowed to go, except for Jabir ibn Abdullah. He was the only exception. His father became Shaheed in Uhud, and then he had to take care of his 7 or maybe more sisters, and so he was left behind. But when his father became Shaheed, he asked for permission to stay. He stayed back to take care of his sisters, but since father became Shaheed, then he requested that he participate in the battle. Rasulullah SAW gave permission. So it was only the people of Uhud allowed to participate, and this one Sahabi, Jabir ibn Abdullah radiallahu anhu. And they went to a place called Hamra al-Asad, and even despite the injuries and cuts, and because it's about 20 kilometers from Madinah Munawwara, and they answered the call of the Prophet ﷺ, and they went out despite their difficulties. So at the end of the day, the Uhud is seen as a victory for the Muslims, because of the objectives from the Muslim side were achieved. The objective from the Quraysh and Mushrikeen failed. The next line is فَالْخَمْرُ حُرِّمَتْ يَقِينًا فَاسْمَعًا هَذَا وَفِيهَا وُلِدَ السِّبْتُ الْحَسَنِ. Then wine was certainly forbidden, so listen. So in the 3rd year of Hijrah, intoxicants were forbidden. So although at the top it says khamr, wine, in the actual poem, but from that is the hukam of all intoxicants were forbidden by Allah. From that we understand anything that changes your state of mind, any type of alcohol, drug and so forth is forbidden. So the wine was certainly forbidden. So listen, in this month was also born his grandson, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's grandson Al-Hasan. So the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's grandson, he was born. Sayyidina Hassan radiallahu anhu is born to Fatima radiallahu anha and Ali radiallahu anhu. So he's the son from his daughter. And as we know, this is the lineage of Rasulullah SAW, as mentioned previously, that it goes through his daughter, although lineage is generally through, on the Day of Judgment, everyone will be called by their father's name, and the lineage is through the father, not through the mother. But for the Prophet ﷺ's lineage, what we call the Sayyid, the descendants of the Prophet ﷺ, they come from his daughter, Sayyidina Fatima radiallahu anha, through Hassan and Hussein. So this is the grandson, the lineage. Still till today, the Hassan and Hussein, his younger brother, is the lineage that survives till today from him and his brother. وكان في الرابعة الغزو إلى بني النضير في ربيع الأول. In the 4th year was the Ghazwa to Bani Nadir in Rabi al-Awwal. So in the 4th year Hijrah, in Rabi al-Awwal is the Ghazwa of Bani Nadir. Bani Nadir was was a tribe, one of the Yahudi tribes, and this tribe, what they did was a Muslim, a companion of the Prophet ﷺ, was involved in an altercation in which he killed the Yahudi. And the Prophet ﷺ went to arbitrate and to sort out the blood money and so forth and compensation to that tribe, as he's the leader of that society for the Muslims and non-Muslims. So he went to arbitrate and to solve that. In the middle of that, the Yahud, they plotted to kill Rasulullah SAW. And there was actually an assassination attempt on the Prophet. But before they could do anything, Jibreel alayhi salam came and informed Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So since he was, and Rasulullah returned immediately back to Madinah Munawwara, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam then prepared an army and they laid siege to Bani Nadir. Because they were, obviously they were attacking Rasulullah. So they had he came to sallallahu alaihi wasallam out of goodwill and for community harmony, to solve the problem and the whatever has happened between those individuals. And then they, instead of working with the Prophet ﷺ, what they did was they tried to assassinate him and kill him in the process. And he had nothing to do with the incident. Obviously, he's a Prophet of Allah. He's not going to be involved in those sort of. But they had, this was the opportunity. They took that instead of opportunity to make peace. They took it and with their leader. And to work with him, what they did was try to kill him. So the Prophet ﷺ laid siege, and at the end of the siege, they tried their best to survive that siege or to live out that siege. But eventually, Rasulullah, when he burnt their crops outside, which is outside of their forts, they understood the message. This is not going to end in a good way for them if they keep going. Basically, they were allowed to leave Madinah Munawwara. Whatever they can carry on their camels, their wealth, except for weapons. Their weapons will be left behind. Other than that, in regards to this, Surah Al-Hashr in the Quran was revealed. So these are the incidents in the 3rd and the 4th year of the life of the Prophet ﷺ. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding and tawfiq to practice. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.